All right, I'm going to be honest. I am dead tired right now. I just got back from the Kentucky Derby. If you've seen the Kentucky Derby, you might know it's a really short horse race. It takes place every year, and I've only seen it on TV a couple times. It's like less than 2 minutes long, but you're there for an entire day standing around watching 14 horse races actually through the day until you get to number 12, which is the Kentucky Derby. So, fun fact, there's a lot of races, and the Kentucky Derby is the 12th race of 14 races. So, anyway, on my feet all day with a group of friends dressed up in, these super cool, bright, colorful outfits. And I think that's really the part of the whole thing. But I was on this 3-day trip. My wife was there. All of our spouses were there. And every night it was like late nights on the East Coast, unlike my normal routine. And so now I'm playing catch up. And it got me thinking, how much do we put attention into our sleep habits? And do we get enough sleep? I think there's a stigma as entrepreneurs that you need to be kind of burning the midnight oil and that sleep is for when you're retired. So if you've heard that before, I want to talk a little bit about sleep because I think I've put a lot of energy into this to make sure that I get enough sleep, that I feel rested, that I feel creative, that I have the energy for running a business. So I'm going to go back first into when I was in startup mode with my first company or even with Trainual. When you're on startup mode, sometimes working late hours is what you need to do to get it done. Sometimes you have a full-time job and you're working after hours and you come home and plug in and you're so passionate about what you're doing that you end up working late hours and running on very little sleep. And I think in the early days, that is excused. It's to be excused because you're so passionate and you need to get something started. You're trying to make a business work for the first time, and that requires really pushing, really putting time into it. And there's really no shortcut. It might be easier for you than it was for me, but for me, I had to learn that stuff and I had to pour hours into it. And sometimes those hours were at night. But when you're growing a business, when you've got something that works and you're hiring other people and you're serving your clients, you need to show up every day ready to manage the people and lead and inspire and motivate and perform. And you can't do that if you're not getting enough sleep. And so I think as you become more mature in your business career, you need to focus more and more on, are you getting the adequate sleep? Are you taking care of your health? Are you taking care of your health so you can create wealth? It's one of the best rhymes in the business, right? Okay, so you can't really run on sleep, no sleep long term. So here's some things that I think through. First, the time of day that you're most productive. Are you a morning person? Are you a night person? It's fine to be either. It's okay to stay up super late at night if you let yourself sleep in the next morning, or take it easy in the next morning. If you can be flexible with your schedule, figure out when you want to work hard, and then give yourself the flexibility to catch up on those other times so that you organize your day in a way that allows you to get enough sleep. For me personally, I like to go to bed between 9 and 10 o'clock at night. I like to wake up between 5 and 6 a.m. in the morning. That's my routine. And I think keeping a routine and trying to do this consistently every day of the week is important too. So if you're one of those people that has one schedule during the week and a different schedule on the weekends, I've gotten advice that that's a bad schedule. You should try to commit to the same schedule every day of the week, because then it makes your body, it gets your body into that bio routine that we really need. All right. And the next thing after this time of day and routine thing is when you think about your office. Maybe you're working from home, you've got a remote setup. I bet a lot of you have invested in your remote office setup. Maybe you've spent a couple $100s on a cool standing desk. Maybe you've bought new headphones. Maybe you've purchased a second monitor or a cool webcam or some of those lights to go behind your webcam. You've made an investment in this place that you spend 8 hours a day. If it's not in a real office, it's at your home office. Now, how much of an investment have you made into your sleep section of the day, your 8 hours that you should be asleep, or 7, or whatever it is for you? Think about your sleep time as like another home office, and make an investment in that home office. Buy some cool sleep tech. For me, I like to sleep in a room that is cool. So I made sure to, even though we've got, central air conditioning throughout the house, Our house, just the way that the air conditioning was distributed, my room was not getting cool enough. So we put an extra air conditioning unit in our room because I wanted to make sure that it was always in the 60s. I like it to be very cold at night. So it always in the high 60s. And that was important to me. I hate when I've got a hot pillow. Maybe you're the same way. So I got those like cooling types of pillows to be able to fall asleep easier. Making an investment in that kind of tech, and especially in a mattress, a pillow, a sheets that are feel good, that you just like being in, is the equivalent of having the standing desk or the extra monitor where you feel productive at work. You want to feel productive for the 8 hours a day that you sleep. Now, I don't know if any of you saw this show. I think it was Inventing Anna was the show, and you may remember there was a boyfriend in the show, and he was pitching this VC thing about this sleep technology, and he had this line in the show that was like, the average person lives this long, and the average person spends 32 years or something like that sleeping. It's mind-blowing that you're out of your whole life, you spend that much time sleeping. So why wouldn't you make an investment to make sure that your sleep tech, your setup, is as good as your home office or your office setup? So get a good mattress, get a good pillow, get good sheets. The next thing I invested in it was actually a gift from a friend. He bought me this Hatch alarm. Maybe you've heard of this. It's one of those alarms that lights up like the sun at a certain time of day. So you set it for like a half-hour window, and it goes from this deep red sunrise kind of color to a really bright sunlight type of color. And it gets me to wake up usually 10 to 15 minutes before my alarm actually even goes off. So when I set an alarm for 5:30, I'm usually up at 5:15. Or if I set an alarm for 6, which it's always one of those, I'll be up at 5:40, 5:45, something like that. And it's such a peaceful way to wake up. So I highly recommend it. Check that out. And then the other thing you could look into is analytics or tracking, because, again, sleep's a big part of the day. Do you wear something like a Garmin or an Apple Watch or a Whoop, or someone could chime in with the other options that are out there? There's a lot of these, Fitbit sort of bracelets and watches that can track you through the night. Or you can use an app, and there's a lot of apps that will track your sleep through the microphone in your phone, in your mobile device. I use one called Sleep Cycle that I set on the side of my bed, and it tracks my breathing through the night and kind of lets you know, did you have a productive sleep? Did you sleep enough? The cool thing it also does is it'll look at the data across your state, across your time zone, across your country, and let you know how your sleep compares to others in your area. So pretty interesting stuff. So those are some ways to invest in tech, and make sure that you are thinking about your sleep time as intentionally as you do about your work time. And then a couple other tips that maybe you've heard before. I personally try to avoid that late night scroll, getting stuck in bed looking at social media. I try to do all my social media stuff either in the morning or right as I'm getting out of work or over lunchtime, because when you get into that scroll and you're staring at the device, we all know that that's not good for us to see that blue light. I wear glasses, Warby Parker glasses that are like blue light glasses when I'm hanging out watching TV, not only for the blue light blocking, but also just helps me see better. So fun fact, there was like one podcast episode where I wore those glasses. I usually don't wear them during the day unless I'm looking at a spreadsheet across the conference room table or something like that. But I'll put them on at night for the TV. I had my eye doctor tell me, you don't have to wear these, but if you ever watch TV, you're not watching high definition. And being that I ran a video company as my first company, I thought, okay, you sold me. I'll get the glasses. Last couple tips. I cut caffeine personally since January. So it is May when we're recording this. So 5 months, no caffeine. I've slept so much better. So if you've dealt with that as well too, waking up throughout the night, maybe think about your caffeine intake, or at least don't drink it in the afternoon. And then finally, some good exercise. So this is something that I put a lot of work into over the years with the marathon and the Ironman training. You don't have to get crazy with the endurance training like that, but I think it's a pretty well-known fact that if you're exercising, your body can recover when you sleep better and you sleep more soundly at night. So just some things to think about. I think sleep is an important conversation that we don't touch on enough as entrepreneurs. and business leaders. So put some time into it, put some attention into it, put some investment into it. Make sure you're getting a good sleep so that you show up for your people, for your team.